When you see the whole world shaking and you feel your heart is breaking, take my hand, no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Okay. Hello. It's Saturday, May 21st. It's a very hot day. Gonna be hot tomorrow too. Next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and I have a pool membership, so hopefully this nice sun will be warming up the pool. So when I jump in next weekend, I won't freeze my buttocks off. All right. I'm Chris Gargiulo, associate broker for eXp Realty, and this is my live stream podcast of Real Estate with Mr. G. And I'm also uploading my episodes up on Spotify. So you could watch me, or you could actually listen to me while you work out, while you're driving, or whatever. Okay? So a lot of good things are happening. And we're going to talk today again about the big topic recently. But there's a lot of big topics recently. But we do have rising mortgage rates. And it's kind of, in one way, it's keeping people still on the fence, thinking it's going to get better, but we don't think it's going to get better. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about the economy. We may have a recession coming. I have some viewpoints on that as well. And other things, okay? So let's do our little prelude, and we'll get right into the work. Okay, I hope I have all this done. I'm using new software, by the way, and I really like it. I could do a lot more with this. In fact, I forget to, as I came on the screen, I could have done this. Well, that's a little too much. That's a little too happy, but I could have done this. And And I can make it louder. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So, okay, can I stop this thing? Okay. So there's a lot more things I could do with the software, and I really, really, really like it. And we're going to have lots of fun with it as I learn more how to use it. So let's do our little preview of what we're going to talk about today. Now, you might have gotten a little reverb on that because with this new software, when the video comes on, I actually have to mute my microphone. With the earlier software I was using, I did not have to do that. So if it was a little bit of an echo, I apologize. But let me get my work up here. And we have why rising mortgage rates push buyers off the fence. Now, which is a good thing when we say you're getting off the fence, that you're making a decision. And I know a lot of people, a lot of my buyers, because of the crazy competition for properties. I mean, once an offer went in, there was usually about 4 or 5 other offers. And one of the reasons why is because we have less inventory right now. Okay, and in earlier podcasts I've went over why we have the lower inventory right now. So I just want to move ahead with what we're going to talk about today. And what has happened with a lot of my potential buyers is that they went on the fence and saying, I'm tired of working. I have to compete with other offers and I have to go higher. And there are limits to what I could do or how high I could go and so forth and so on. And they became discouraged. Now, this article is saying that because we know mortgage rates will most likely continue to go up, people should get off that fence and begin buying now. Now, if things go as they are going now, 2 things we know will happen. Mortgage rates will still go up to put a halt on inflation, and home prices should still go up. And all the economists and mortgage people all say that. Now, anything could happen, right? Now, we're talking about a recession. If for some reason we go into a deep recession, okay, or we have stagflation, other things might happen, all right? This is a little side note. One thing I like about economics is that you have different ingredients and you mix them together. But unlike a chemistry experiment, where if you put one chemical with another, you're certain of a certain reaction, right? Okay. But with the economy, you can have certain things happening, but you may not have the same reaction, right? So we know that with the rising of mortgage rates, it should hold back the economy and prices, but that may not happen. We still have a strong economy, even though we may go into a recession. So if everything goes well, we still see prices go up, but for some reason, we go into a deep, deep recession, or we have a stagflation where we have inflation and people's pays are not going up, we might have a situation where prices will go down. But that's on the far end of the chart. All right. You have things that will most likely happen in the middle. You always have things off on the side, all right, in case other situations arise that this will not happen. But if things go as they should on this normal path, this normal curve, all right, we should have rates going up as well as home prices. And some economic indicators are showing that home prices are still going to go up a lot. First at the beginning of the year, I was saying 5% from what I was reading, but now some people still say 10%. So the bottom line is, okay, that if you continue to wait to purchase, it's not going to get better, okay? Because interest rates are certain to go up, as well as home prices. So if you wait towards the end of the year, you're going to have a much larger monthly mortgage payment. So it's best to purchase now. And I've been noticing more listings are going in the market. I'm getting a listing. I might also be getting a land listing. And this is a good thing. Usually, this is the time when we're in spring, we're going to go into summer, and a lot of people begin putting their homes on the market. Okay? Now, the funny thing about it, within the last year, I kept on talking about the pandemic, and that we have to get out of this pandemic for us to get more listings on the market. Now, the numbers are going up again. I was going to wait until the end of the summer to take my second booster. Actually, my wife and I went last week to get our second booster because the numbers have been going up. So here's another fly in the ointment. If those numbers go up again and people start getting sick in the sense they're going into the hospital, that could be another situation. Luckily, it's been people are getting identified as having COVID, but it's not that serious because they've been taking the vaccinations and the boosters. But again, to recap, excuse me, and I had my COVID shot, so that was just a regular cough, that home prices will continue to go up, as well as the mortgage rate. So let's look at what I had put on my now in this article that's on my blog for this week. They give the example of how high at one time mortgage rates was. This 18, and let me highlight it, 18.63%. Okay, let's count. All right, I think I wanted to. Let me see if this still works. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. This actually was the rate when I graduated from undergrad school, and I graduated actually in '79, but '80, and then '82, '83, we went up to these really high interest rates. At this time, I actually was working for Merrill Lynch. and we had what they called CMA accounts, and it was a CMA for comparative market analysis, but it was some sort of, I forgot what the acronym was, but we got like a very good return on our money. This is actually where also I met my future wife. She also worked at Merrill Lynch, and we met, and we got married, and we're still together after all these years. It's going to be 39 years of September, our anniversary. Well, anyway, this is showing you how high it has been. And what they're trying to say with this article, they say, well, it's going up, but it's still a lot better than it was back in the early 80s. All right? Yes, it's gone up. And actually, it's gone up, within about a year's time, it's gone up 2 points. And that's, when you talk about mortgages, that's pretty big rise. See, I'm trying to play it down. But that's a bit. And so if it's going up to, closer to 6% by the end of the year, that's a big difference. That's going up about 3 points, right, within the last year. Now, this week, the stock market was bad. The stock market went down, and that was reflected in mortgage rates, but it's not like it's going down a whole point or 2 points. All right, so you're going to see fluctuations, but we still see it going up higher as the year goes on. And of course, when mortgage rates climb, they impact the monthly mortgage payment you have on the home that you are buying. And ongoing inflationary pressures remains likely to push mortgage rates even higher in the months to come. And no matter what, even though with the high interest rates on the horizon, it should not keep you from buying a house right now. In fact, you should buy right now before it gets even higher, okay? Buying sooner rather than later might be wise. Now, what I added to this, and this is making a comeback, I actually spoke to two of the loan officers that I work closely with, and I might speak to others. One said he doesn't have the adjustable rate mortgage. The other one said she has, but she's not really pushing it. Adjustable rate mortgages are surging in popularity despite their role in the 2008 housing crash. Now, the big difference, well, let me just go over again quickly the difference between an adjustable rate mortgage and a fixed rate mortgage. All right, so fixed rate mortgage, so let's say right now it's at 5.3%, and you get a fixed rate mortgage, that stays at that rate for the life of the loan. So if it's a 30-year mortgage, you will have that for 30 years, okay? It's not going to change. Now, adjustable rate mortgage, the rate does change, and they usually have, sometimes they call it a teaser rate because they're teasing you to get in. It's like, I'm not so sure if they still use that term in retail, but they call it loss leader. So if you're in an area where there's a lot of stores and they have, they put merchandise on the outside or in their window, and it's like really cheap, okay? And they're probably actually taking a loss on that product. I'm thinking back when I was back in Brooklyn, and we used to have the stores on Fifth Avenue in Brooklyn, and they were, they were retail stores, and they sold, from toiletries to handkerchiefs to whatever. But the outside, they'll put maybe the toothpaste in, and it was like super, super cheap. All right. And that was to lead you into the house, into the store, the loss leader. So they're taking loss in it, but they're bringing you into the store so that you would buy more. So the teaser rate is to get you to buy the mortgage. And and let's say right now we're at, to make it easy to understand, let's bring it up to 6%. But they have a teaser rate at, let's say, 3%. All All right, and that'll be a much smaller mortgage. So you take it, but what will happen through the life of that loan, it will increase. That mortgage rate will increase. Now, it has a cap, so it might cap at 8%. So it won't go higher than 8%, but it'll fluctuate with the market. And usually they do it within they'll state in the loan, that it might be they can't change it for the first year or 2 years, whatever, but it will move up. Now, it really works well if you don't plan to stay in the property, let's say, more than 5 years, okay? Let's say this is your starter home and you're starting a family and you want to have a couple children and eventually down the line you want a bigger house. So you're paying on a house with a mortgage rate that's lower than the fixed rate, and you're going to sell in 5 years, and that's a good thing, all right? So that would be a good example where you may go on with a adjustable rate mortgage, or if you're military and you're going to be sent to another section of it could be anywhere in the world, but that you're in this area for about 4 or 5 years, but they're going to move you again, and you might end up selling the house. That's another good reason to do a adjustable rate mortgage. Now, the problem back in 2008 is that the biggest problem was that, let's say you bought a $300,000 home, and at 2%, that mortgage was $1,500, and that was fine with your income and your debt to income ratio. That all worked, and what they did, they just approved you at that rate. Okay, so what happened as the rate went up, those owners could no longer afford their mortgage. Okay, because their pay did not increase by that amount. So there was a lot of foreclosures because of that. Now, the biggest difference between now and 2008 is that the loan officer will check your eligibility at the higher rate. So even though you might start at 2% mortgage rate, they'll take it at 8%, see what the mortgage payment would be, and see if you could pay it. So you have that safety already built in. So if they say at 8%, you could still afford that a mortgage with your current income, you will be approved for it. And that's the biggest difference between the two points of time. All right. And even above that, because of the crash, underwriters are even more careful when they write the mortgage. They check everything, all right, to make sure that there's no question that you could afford that mortgage. Okay, so that's the biggest difference. Now, that might be a situation you might want to consider, or a product you may want to consider when you make your next purchase. Okay, so that's adjustable rate mortgages that making a comeback. You could speak to your trusted mortgage loan officer on that product, and if they have it, you could take it on. Okay. All right. So let's. I have a video here on what to expect for the second half of 2022. Let's take a look at that, and we'll move along here right now. Okay. All right. So, again, to recap, if things continue as they are, mortgage rates will continue to go up. Home prices will go up. So if you're looking to purchase, it's better sooner than later. If you're selling, it's a great time to sell because you already have a lot of built-in equity in your house. You'll get a nice check when you close, and if you want to move up to a larger home, whatever your situation is, you'll be in a good position. So when you're ready to look for homes, properties, you go to my website, and let's see, here we go, realestatewithmrg.com, and you can search for all properties in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And it's also like if you want to find out your home value, if you're ready to sell, be very happy to list your home. You just click on the sell tab and you put in your address, and instantaneously you'll get an estimate. Now, I want to, after it's sent out, that's a computerized version, then you need the subjective one for someone to go out and really look at your house and look at the upgrades and compare it with comps to really zoom in. I'm going to coin that phrase, zoom in to the correct price range for your home. Okay? So I think I'm hearing from my producer. We have some young people in the audience. They want to do some sort of dance. Is that right?
Chris, great news. In the audience, we have local teens dancing to one of the biggest dance crazes out of the late 1950s called the stroll, which originated from American Bandstand. This dance was performed in a line form with boys on one side and girls on the other, creating an aisle between them. Watch out, Soul Train, the stroll is going to be some competition.
Come, let's go. Stroll across the floor. Come, let's go. Stroll across the floor.
Well, I haven't seen that dance. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that dance, but it was nice for them to stop by. Thank you very much. Let me see if I have okay, for that, let's yeah. Okay. I think they deserve that. Okay. I'm going to get these special effects in much better by next week, okay? Okay, is it over? Okay. I'm trying to make it, okay. All right, so that's our show for this week. Remember, if you haven't been vaccinated or taken the boosters, I recommend it that you please do. Be safe, be kind to each other, and remember, the greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift, each other. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.